Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Kalea and this is my third video, and today I wanted to talk about knitting plans for the end of winter and beginning of spring. There are still quite a few heavy projects, as in like the weight of the projects that I wanted to talk about in this episode, and I may not be able to wear them until next winter, but I thought it'd be fun to still talk about them and maybe give you some inspiration for your next project. So I'll start off with what I'm wearing today. I'm currently wearing my Brady Loops sweater. It is a DK weight sweater with a merino and an mohair. It has cables on the side and is a saddle shoulder construction. I talk more about this sweater in my previous podcast. If you want to listen to that, it'll be on my channel. The first thing that I wanted to talk about are cardigans. I'm currently knitting the Dagmar cardigan. However, there are a few cardigans I've seen on Ravelry and Instagram that I've been wanting to knit. So the first cardigan that I want to talk about is the Haraboji cardigan. I've seen quite a few other people knit this cardigan and I fell in love with it. It is a pattern by Aegyo knit. It has a lattice type cabled pattern, as well as some seed stitch and a cable down the side of the sleeves. It is a worsted weight yarn. It recommends the Sophie Velling, and it has a gauge of 18 stitches by 23 rows in moss stitch on a 4.5mm needle. Unfortunately, it does only have 3 sizes, so I would keep that in mind when choosing this pattern. I've wanted to knit this pattern for quite a while now. However, I've been quite intimidated by the construction of this garment. You start at the end of the sleeve and knit, and then you knit the body flat. I do hear that you have to cable on the wrong side, which is something I'm a little nervous about, but I definitely think it is accomplishable, and maybe I'm just psyching myself out, and I think I would like to give it a go. I would like to use the recommended yarn knitted in the pattern. I've seen people knit either a light cream color or more of like a light brown color, which is something that I think I would enjoy and have an easy time pairing with other clothes. The next 2 patterns are actually quite similar. It's the Key cardigan by Petite Knit and the Carla cardigan by Anne Fensel. These are both 2 really well-known pattern designers and create really well written patterns. The Key cardigan, I'm sure you've seen the Key sweater as well, is a worsted weight cardigan that comes in sizes extra small to 5XL, which is quite a big range. It has a gauge of 18 and 24 rows using the standard combination of like a DK weight plus a fingering weight held together. It's the same color work pattern as the Key sweater, so I originally wanted to knit the Key sweater, but I find for me personally, I wear cardigans more often. I find it's easier to style. I think that I would like to knit this in the same yarn combination. I think it was Filcolana Alva and the Filcolana Tilla in the brown and white colors. So the original Key sweater colors I think would look great in the cardigan. I think it looks really simple, and I do believe that the weight of the yarn would be perfect for springtime. The Carla cardigan by Anne Fensel is quite a similar motif. I'm not sure exactly how to describe the like shape it makes, but the like that shape, if you know what I mean. It's a pretty similar motif. It's color work as well. However, what's really interesting about this pattern is that the cardigan, you knit it only in one color at a time, so it's like a slip stitch color work. I'm not exactly sure how that works. I've never tried that before, but it is knit in a bulky weight yarn on 5mm needle, so it will be a little bit warmer than the Key cardigan. It comes in sizes 1 to 5 with a gauge of 16 stitches and 26 rows. She uses Isair EcoSoft and Isair Tivini. I'm not sure how to say that, but I would be really interested in trying that yarn combination out as well. And I don't know, I think the construction is really interesting to me with the slip stitch color work. I think it might be a little bit harder to wear with the upcoming spring and summer season, but down the road I definitely could see myself wearing it a lot. The last cardigan is more of a simple cardigan and one that would be a staple piece in my wardrobe, I think. It is the My Dream Cardigan by Wool & Beyond, which is a light fingering weight cardigan knitted in Knitting for Olive and their silk mohair. Knitting for Olive Merino and their silk mohair. It comes in sizes extra small to 4XL, and it's worked top down with a saddle / contiguous shoulder construction and steeked at the end. I think I've never steeked before and I really want to try it. And honestly, I really love cardigans, but I hate purling. Well, maybe I don't hate it, but I'd rather just like stockinette and just like speed through it. So I think the simplicity of the pattern would make me maybe a little bit more confident to steek it. I could definitely see myself as well wearing this a lot with plain shirts under it, or pattern shirts as well. I think I would like to knit this in like a dark brown neutralish color, one that I could pair. I wear a lot of pinks and blues, so I think it would work perfectly. The next two that I wanted to talk about are two cabled sweaters. Now, so we are heading into spring, but I still want to knit cabled sweaters. The first one is the Snow Crocus by Midori Hirose, I think. And I've talked about this sweater actually. Oh no, I haven't. I've talked about Danish Musings in a previous episode, and she knit this sweater and I really want to knit it as well. It's got this front, almost looks like tulips to me, cabled pattern, and on the sides there's cables, and I just find that it's a very unique sweater, I think, with like the neckline, and it's definitely something I could see myself wearing. It comes in quite a wide size range, which is really excellent. It comes in sizes to a double extra small to 6 extra large, I think. I would definitely size up from a size that I would normally knit, because I do think that, especially what Danish Musings was saying, and then looking at the pattern, I think I would want more positive ease than the pattern allots for. It sort of reminds me of, it's not really that similar, but the tulip loop sweater with the same sort of, it's quite different, but it gives me the same vibes for some reason. It's a slightly more complex knit, which I definitely have to sit down and pay attention to the pattern for, which can sometimes be a little bit annoying, but I find that different than like stockinette patterns, I definitely don't get bored of them. So yeah, that's that pattern. I hope to knit it maybe with a yarn held with a mohair, but I'm not quite sure yet. The next pattern is another cabled pattern, and it is by Sophie Velling, which is the Augustine's Cables number 3. This is a fairly new pattern. It came out in February of this year, and it comes in sizes A to H. It is an all-over cabled sweater with a roll neck. It is, however, knit bottom up, so I'm a little bit hesitant to knit it bottom up. I do like knitting top down because I do get to see like where the length is gonna end, and just gauge that by trying it on rather than guessing. So that does make me a little bit concerned. I've never knitted something from bottom up, but maybe I will like it. I'm not sure. I love the cables on the sleeves. I think it's so intricate and it looks great. I also really like the neckline that's on there with the ribbing. I think it looks really good and has like a simple yet complex look to it. I think I would knit it in also a light like white cream color. I find that the darker you get, the less you'll be able to see the cables, and I think the cream goes really well with the pattern. Moving on to colorwork sweaters, it's another pattern by Sophie Velling. So this one is also new. It's the Northern Augustine's number 7. It's a DK weight top down all over colorwork sweater, and I was originally drawn to it by the really complex looking colorwork. It really turned like a simple construction into something really beautiful with the colorwork. I love the colors that she used, which was the cream and like, I'm not sure if it's a teal or just a light blue. It it looks so pretty. It comes in sizes 8 to H as well. So I think all of her patterns have the same sizing. I'm not exactly sure, but the ones I've looked at. The pattern seems really simple, and hopefully, I do believe that her charts are pretty easy to follow. And I've seen a lot of different color combinations in this pattern. People who've used a low contrast, so like the cream and blue, as well as high contrast. So like I think I saw someone make like a gray and red, and that looked really pretty as well. So I'm definitely debating whether I would do a low contrast or a high contrast. I think I'm tempted to do low contrast because the high contrast may be too busy for me. I'm not exactly sure quite yet, but I do think it would be a really fun knit. I have knit a few color work things, and I definitely want to knit more because I find it's really fun. Now, the next pattern for colorwork sweaters is also by and Sophie Velling, and it is the Northern Augustans number 1. It's also a very simple top-down sweater with a bulkier yarn, so it's definitely a faster knit. It is with a gauge of 16 stitches and 22 rows. I've seen Handmade by Florence make this sweater in a dark brown and white color, and I personally really love that look, and I might do something really similar. It seems pretty fast considering it is a more bulkier weight yarn, and yeah, I would just love to knit it. I've seen a few pictures of different color combinations and I'm really drawn to it, and I think it'd be a really fun pattern, relatively simple. The last colorwork pattern is something that I've had on my list for a really long time, and that is the Joanne Loop Sweater by The Loops. It is a DK weight sweater which comes in sizes from extra small to extra large. She actually has 2 samples on her pattern page, which I'll put here. It is, at first I saw the yellow and, is it a gray color? Cream color? And I did not like it, to be very honest. It had such a low contrast, like I couldn't see the pattern at all. And then I saw the black and white one, and I immediately knew that I had to knit that eventually. To me, it's sort of a more complicated like checkerboard, if that makes sense. It feels very elegant, but also very stylish, and I think it would look really good. I've seen other people knit it in like a cream and a blue color, and I think that's really pretty. I've knit other loops patterns before, and I think they're really well written and relatively easy to follow, so I'd definitely be inclined to knit this one as well. On Ravelry, I've seen other people knit it in a variety of different colors, switching the dark and light color, and there's so many ways that you can customize this sweater, which I think is really cool. I think I would knit it on a cream and blue, or maybe like a gray and white sort of color scheme, probably something a little more neutral. The next category that I wanted to talk about, the last one as well, are socks. I have been knitting furiously at socks recently. I find them so much fun. Why? I'm not exactly sure, but I do find them really fun. And the first pattern, I've slowly been trying to work through my 52 weeks of socks book. I've only knitted one so far, which were the Kaisa socks, and I found them really great. And the next one that I wanted to knit were the Una socks. They are a lace pattern. They're a lace pattern. They look pretty simple. I love the eye of partridge, I believe, heel flap, and I think they just look really cute and simple and would be great to wear. They are knitted on 2.25 millimeters and are cuffed down, which is my preferred method. I don't really like toe up that much. The next sock pattern that I want to talk about are the Comfort Core sock set by Summerlee. These are actually really new, and I thought they were really interesting. They seem more of a practical sock than one that's like a lot of lace or pretty designs. I personally also use the Nike dry fit socks a lot, and I was really intrigued by like using the seed stitch and then having a reinforced like ball of the heel, the middle of the foot pattern, and I just like kind of want to know how it feels. Like, I'm not sure how to describe it, but it just looks like a lot of fun texture and pretty simple and easy to knit, so I think I'll give that a go. The last pattern I want to talk about are the sunny side up socks, which is another summerly pattern. I've seen Hanaan Bonet on YouTube knit these as well, and her color palette was really, really pretty. I love the vibrant blue. It just like makes sense to me. I don't know, it like exudes Pinterest to me. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I love every color combination she's like ever used. I think it's really inspiring to me looking at her color patterns. And one thing I will say, especially about summerly patterns, is they do come in a lot of sizes. I find that most sock patterns come in like 1, 2, or 3, but hers are like kids, small, medium, large, extra large. So there's a lot of, if your feet may not fit like the regular sizing, I think her patterns would be great to try out. That about does it for all the patterns that I'm thinking about knitting this spring and end of winter as well. I hopefully will be back with another knitting podcast in a week or so, and hopefully have a lot of updates to give you about my projects. And I'm crossing my fingers that my Dagmar jacket will be complete. Probably not, but I hope so. Thanks for watching. Bye!